Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Old Mutual session today. It's very nice to see so many people here already. Thank you, Fulu Falani, for joining us from Old Mutual. It is great to meet you. And the floor is yours, Fulu Falani. Take the lead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Casey, and a very good morning to everyone. Let me just work on projecting my screen so that we can get started. Okay.
Are you coming right?
I think we'll be there almost.
Just
Can you
remember
see
to
my...
click.
Sorry?
There we go. We can see.
Oh, you can see my screen. Okay, perfect. So starting now, technology almost got the best of us there, but we are doing all right. So good day, everyone. I am Fuluperanima Shapa, and I will be taking you through the presentation, A Day in the Life of an Old Mutual Graduate. And I just want to say thank you so much for actually coming to the session, and I hope you will find this session very useful. So this session will be somewhat of a mini sketch. So it'll be long enough to cover the basics, but short enough to keep you interested. So let's move on. I have an important announcement before going forth. And the announcement is to say that if you are engaging in the session, you stand a chance to walk away with 500 rands take a lot voucher. So I am hoping that you will be answering the poll questions and you will also be participating throughout the session. So moving on now to sort of the overview of this presentation, I will tell you guys a bit of who I am, what I do, and also what my day looks like. And the last one, the big one, will be why Old Mutual. Out of all the life insurers or general insurers in South Africa, why specifically Old Mutual? So I will spend about 30 minutes just telling you guys who I am, what I do, and what my day looks like, and why Old Mutual. And then from there, I will sort of give you guys a bit of advice as we go with the presentation. And then at the end, I will open up the floor for questions. So note those questions down if you have them as we go with the presentation. We will get to that part later on. Now, let's start with the presentation. So who am I? Casey, I don't know if you can help me out with a poll. I've often wondered if I actually look younger or older than my age. So can we start with how old do you guys think I am? Your options are 18, 23, and 25. I don't know if you got that, Casey. Casey?
Yes, she's got it, and she's loading it for you now.
Yes, so I would just love to know, do you guys think I look 18? Do I look 23? Or do I look 25? How old do you think I am before we get to, the part where I tell you all about myself, what I am, what I do, and what I do at Old Mutual as well. So that is the first part. Is the poll up already?
Yes, I've just put it up now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, the responses. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. Is it 18? Is it 23 or 25? I am dying to know.
Let me have a look. So far, we have 95 responses, 103. Okay, let's have a look.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna guess as well. I'm not gonna say my guess, but let's have a
Okay,
look.
that's a lot. I'm giving you permission to actually guess. How old do I look? Do I look 80, 25, 23?
Well, most of our attendees, 65 out of 115 and still counting, think you're 23. Then 46 out of 116 think you're 25, and 3 out of 119 think you are 18.
Okay, I guess I actually look my age based on the responses from majority of the people. So I am actually 23. I started with Old Mutual last year, beginning of last year in Jan. But at the end of the day, it's not about the years in your life that count, but rather it's the life in your years. So let's get into it now. Who am I and what am I all about? I believe in making impacts. I believe in growth. I believe in making every minute that I have count towards something great. So, hence, last year I started a YouTube channel, to create a platform where young people can come together and share about finances and also learn from each other's mistakes. And my life motto is very simple. It says, the learning never ends, simply because the day you die isn't necessarily the day that your body shuts down and all systems in your body stops working, but rather it is the day that you stop learning. That is the day you die. And I take it upon myself to learn about a lot of things. I learn about food, I learn about money, insurance, people, God, technology, philosophy, whatever it is. I take it upon myself to just learn, and hence I read a lot of books. And I also love having good conversations. So here's a secret. If you continuously learn, it actually becomes easy for you to engage with anyone. And that is how you build a good network. And you will find that as you start working, and a good network is very essential for your career, for you to grow as an individual. It's a good place to start. But at the core of everything, at the core of it all, I am a dreamer. I was born and bred in the dusty streets of Mukumbani. If you go on your Google Maps, you will find Mukumbani there. It is a very small village in Limpopo. And not to romanticize poverty or anything, but we grew up with no electricity, no proper school facility, or even a tar road. But I was a very bright young mind, and my family and teachers knew, and they just encouraged me to dream. I remember when I first heard about actuarial science, I was in grade 9, and I had gotten 100% on my very first grade 9 maths test. And my mathematics teacher, Mr. Chinorinda, was like, "You're very smart. Have you heard about actuarial science? Do you know what it is?" And I was like, "No, I don't know what it is." And he said to me, "It's a very challenging course, but only smart people do it. And I think you actually have what it takes to be an actuary." And from that conversation, the dreamer in me was inspired. The dreamer in me was challenged. The dreamer in me was curious. So I normally say I thrive in research, and I just did what I know best. I called my sister, and I really wanted to find out, what is this actuarial science? What is it all about? Who are actuaries? What do they do? And my sister was in university at that time, connected me to some of her friends who were doing actuarial science. And that's when I got to talk to them, and I got to understand what actuarial science is. And since 2012, I have actually been dreaming about becoming a fellow of the Actuarial Society of South Africa. I'm on my way, I'm almost there. I have 3 exams left. So in due time, I will have achieved my dream. Another thing that you might actually not know about me is that I love arts. I love taking pictures. I love videos, I love painting, and I love poetry. So every now and again, I tap into my artistic side as I'm resting or as, things slow down a bit at work, just so to keep up with the other parts of myself that I love. So ladies and gentlemen, this is actually who I am. Now, I think I've said a lot about who I am. Let's move on to what do I actually do. So Casey, I don't know if you're ready for another poll. So with this one, we are just asking, which department am I in, right? The first one, just write LI, so life insurance. The second one is GI, general insurance. And the last one is non-traditional actuarial department, or we can just say non-traditional. So based on you guys, just what I've told you now, which department do you think I'm actually in based on the things that I love that I just told you, based on the things that I do? Actually, what do you think? Which department do you think I'm actually in? I will be waiting for your responses to say, do you think I am a life insurance person, someone who's dealing with funeral covers, life covers, disability cover, unemployment cover? Do you think I'm in that space at Old Mutual? And the second one is the general insurance cover, or the general insurance space, where we deal with motor insurance, household and contents, where we deal with, protecting your pets, protecting your luggage as you're traveling. The airlines, they actually encourage you to buy that insurance to protect your luggage as you travel. Do you think I'm in that space? And the last one is, do you think I'm in the non-traditional actuarial space, where, I deal with investments, maybe I deal with banking? Tell me your responses. Do we have any responses, Casey?
So far, 70% think you are in the non-traditional actuarial department. I see people are answering in the chat. Guys, please answer in the polls section. If you're on a PC, it's on your right, you'll see polls, and if you are on your mobile, it's down below. The numbers are climbing. Wow. I think that you are in non-actuarial department.
Well, I would also say the same thing if I didn't know myself. I do sound like someone who's not in the traditional actuarial space, but I am actually in the GI space, so the general insurance space. That's where I've been working since last year. But I guess you guys, I'll call you prophets, because I think in the end I will most likely end up in a very non-traditional actuarial space. So you are wrong for now, but I don't think you'll be wrong forever. Now, the question of what do I do, it feeds from who I am. So from Monday to Friday, I wear my actuarial hat, and I am an actuary, or an actuarial specialist, not yet an actuary, an actuarial specialist at Old Mutual. And my role is based in Joburg. My team and I essentially provide actuarial services to the rest of Africa. So by actuarial services, I mean pricing products, valuations of products, a bit of risk management here and there. So we do a lot of things. We support the countries in whatever that they need support with. And when we say rest of Africa, we're referring to countries like Kenya, Malawi, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, you name them, Nigeria as well, you name them. And we have other mutualites that are in those countries that we work closely with on a day-to-day basis. And what I particularly love about my job is that on a day-to-day basis, I work closely with 9 other African countries. And this means that not only do I get exposure to what is happening in the South African actuarial space, but I also get to see what is happening in the rest of Africa. And this opportunity has really served to broaden my horizon, and it surely makes my work interesting. It's 9 different countries. This just means 9 different regulators, 9 different products. You know, it's different customers that we're serving, different needs. So it surely makes my work very dynamic and interesting as well. And as it says there on the slide, I actually have a passion for Africa. And I remember in 2019, in my final year, as I was going for interviews and all of that, I would say this over and over again in interviews that I actually have, you know, I actually have passion for Africa. I believe that Africa is the future, and there are so many opportunities that are waiting for us to actually seize them. So we can use our skills, our experience, and knowledge to actually advance our continent. And in my final year, I already knew that I wouldn't like to be in a space where I do repetitive work on a day-to-day basis. I wanted something dynamic, something that will push me outside my comfort zone and force me to think, you know, and create value for the customers that we serve on a day-to-day basis. And I am very proud to say that my role in the rest of Africa actuarial services at Old Mutual really gives me that. Sometimes I start my day not knowing what Africa will throw at me, and I guess that is what keeps me going. I remember last year what I really loved was, you know, having to sit down as the actuarial team to say, how do we deal with hyperinflation in Zimbabwe? You know, because it breaks almost all our assumptions that we actually make when we try to do valuations. So for me, that is the interesting part, to say there's an opportunity for me to think outside the box and contribute towards something that is worthwhile. So on weekends, I normally create content for YouTube. I'm a YouTuber, as I've stated, and I study, and I also tutor. So with the tutoring, it's a company that a friend of mine and I started. And the main dream really is to revolutionize education and how education or the content is delivered to learners, especially for learners that come from rural areas like myself. I remember in high school when it was time for chemistry and we didn't have a lab, we literally had to read textbooks in order to understand how a certain experiment would go, or also like what the outcomes of the experiment would be, which is very different from someone who's actually going inside the lab and actually doing the work themselves. So what we're trying to do is to just create content and bring it to the learners and allow them an opportunity to engage with the content outside the classroom. So in a nutshell, that is essentially what I do. Now, the big question, right? I guess this is what everyone was sort of looking forward to say, but what does your day at Old Mutual look like? And I can also imagine, based on everything that I've stated, you might be asking yourself, you do so many things. Do you actually have 24 hours in a day, or you have more than 24 hours? When do you sleep? How does your life go? So I do understand that I have a lot of things going on. And for me, what is important is that these are the things that I love. These are the things that I feel they're important to me, you know, in my life and sort of the stage that I'm in at the moment. So whatever is important to you, I'm sure you've heard the saying, whatever is important to you, you make time for it. So in order for me to be able to do what I do, get enough sleep and do it effectively, I wake up at 3 a.m. every single day. So even today, I've been up since 3 a.m. and this is sort of how my routine goes. So from 3 to 4, it's me making my bed, brushing my teeth, and starting with my morning devotion. So prayer to me centers me. It sort of helps me ease into my day. I know for some other people, it's like listening to soft music in the morning, or like listening to a podcast, whatever it is that you do in the morning to sort of ease you into the day. My thing is prayer. I sit down, I pray. That's what I do in the morning. And also the importance of just making your bed. That should be your victory. Every single morning when you wake up, the first thing, the first win for the day should be making your bed. So I do that. And from 4 until 7 a.m., I did state that I am still studying, so I'm still writing my board exams. I do my studying between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. And what I really love about the early hours of the morning is how, people are still sleeping, the world is very quiet. So for me, I'm able to concentrate and get a lot of stuff done during that time before sort of like the world wakes up. So that is what I do. I do my studying in the morning. For other people I know, they love working in the evenings. If that works for you, then do that. For me, I just love working in the morning before everyone is up and just, get ahead with my day and get the studying out of the way before work. And from 7 to sort of 9 a.m. on some days I exercise, but like it's been very challenging with winter and all of that, but I try to exercise and also like shower, eat breakfast, and read my emails. And in my team we have a routine that Mondays and Tuesdays, 9 a.m., we have to do a Teams check-in where we sort of, talk about how we're doing and also what are the deliverables for the week. So 9 a.m. Mondays and Tuesdays, it's normally a team check-in where we talk about work. And between 9 and 5, really, that's where Old Mutual has my full attention, and all the time I'm there working and attending a lot of meetings, because we are sort of like consultants in our role. The way our role is structured is like we're consultants for rest of Africa. So we do spend a bit of time in meetings trying to understand what they're doing and also how they want us to assist them with whatever that they're doing. So a bulk of the time is also spent in meeting, and then another time I have to sort of now work on the deliverables that we have to produce at the end of the day. Then after 5 p.m., which is actually it was difficult at first when we started working from home, because we had to sort of create that boundary to say, this is now work time, this is now, after work. It was very difficult, last year after lockdown to actually have those boundaries. But for me, what structures me is my routine to say 9 and 5, that's Old Mutual. And after 5, we are done, unless if there is like a pressing deadline or we are working on something that we have to submit, at that point in time. So that's when you like work even after 5. But normally it's like 5 p.m. it's lights out, Old Mutual, I'm done. I get to do other things that I love, and sometimes you might even finish early depending on how busy the week is, or depending on the period. If it's valuation time, of course you would finish a bit late, but if it's like a normal week, then you would most likely finish early, because there isn't like too much work to actually do. So there are some on and off seasons. It just depends on, is it reporting period or is it not. And then after that, after clocking off work, I do other things that I love. I might take a walk, I might, chat with my friends over the phone, or I might connect with family, cook dinner and just find time to rest. You can imagine I've been up since 3 a.m. So trust me, by the time it's like 6 p.m., 7 p.m., your body will be telling you you are tired. And then between 7 and 8, I get ready for bed, and then we wake up and work at 3 a.m. one more time the following morning for the rest of the week. And then on weekends, people do ask, when do you rest? On weekends, I don't wake up at 3 a.m., but because I've been doing this for a while now, since last year, my body is sort of like used to it. I do wake up at 3 even on weekends, but I just don't get out of bed. I try to like fall asleep again, just so I can, allow my body to rest and wake up whenever I want to wake up. So on weekends, I can wake up late if I have to, or if I feel like I want to sleep in. And then before we get to, the final part, I guess, of the presentation, I also have another poll, the last poll, in the session. The last part of the presentation is about why Old Mutual. So I don't want to influence your answers. I will just say, Casey, please help us. What is the most important thing you look for in a potential employer? The first option is money, 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 money. The second option is great culture. The third option is growth prospects. So what is the most important thing to look for in a potential employer? Is it money? You know, do you just want to secure the bag? Is it great culture? Do you want to have great relationships? Do you actually want to enjoy, being in the office and interacting with your colleagues and all of that, which at this point is not really possible because of the pandemic. But when we do get back, is that what you look for? Do you look for growth prospects to say, what about, me in 10 years time? Do I feel I'll still be in Old Mutual in 10 years time? Do I feel if I stay for 10 years, will I actually grow in my career? So is it money? Is it culture? Is it growth? What do you look for in a potential employer? And I can imagine you've been attending the sessions, since Tuesday. What exactly are you looking for? Have you considered about that? Because I think that is very important to say, what am I actually looking for? When I say I'm looking for an employer, which criteria should they actually meet? Is it money? Is it culture? Is it growth? Casey, do you have any answers?
Yes, we do. 79% of our voters think, they say growth prospects.
Okay. No. And then there's some people. Mm-hmm.
Then 5% say more money. And 21% say great culture.
Great culture. Well, I'd say for me, as I was going for interviews, definitely culture and growth, the two were really, really important, because the culture of a company has to be conducive for you to actually grow. If you are there and opportunities are not given, then you are not gonna grow. So yeah, money is important. I mean, we can't say money is not important. That will be a lie. Money is important, but I think your decision shouldn't solely be based on money, because at the end of the day, you still need to wake up and go to work. So imagine doing a job that you don't love simply because you can get more money from it. So try to find, I guess, something that will give you money, but also allow you to grow, because it's important as a young professional. So now coming on to, but why Old Mutual? I remember I also tried to interview in my final year to say I was a bursary student with Old Mutual, but I was saying, hey, you never know. What if there's something or someone else out there, or something else that you might actually like. I'm someone who likes keeping her options, open. So that's what I was trying to do. I was like, I'm going to go into this with an open mind, so that if I do decide to stay with Old Mutual, then it would be out of choice and not because I was part of the bursary program, right? So these are my big 4 reasons why I ended up choosing Old Mutual. The first one is definitely great culture. For me, I experienced, firsthand the culture at Old Mutual when I did my vacation work in 2017 and 2018. So I applied for the vacation work program and I was there. I remember I was working in Cape Town. I studied at UCT, so I was in Cape Town in the Actuarial Central. They used to call it the Actuarial Central Department, where essentially they have an overview of all the actuarial functions in Old Mutual. And at that time, they were still trying to make projections when it comes to Old Mutual demerging from the UK and how that will actually pan out. And for me, I just loved how I felt included. There was inclusion in that whole process. Though I was there for a few weeks, visiting for a month in my vacation work program, I really felt like I was part of the team. And as we were doing the work, I could see that also the other employees were also willing to help me out and make me understand what is really happening. So when I went back, like when you visit a place for the first time, they might treat you well because, you're a first time guest. So I decided 2018 again, I was like, no, let me actually go back, different departments and actually see how it goes. Maybe it was just those specific colleagues that treated me well. But overall, I found that, it didn't matter which department I was in, but I felt like this was home. This was a place where I would actually love to start my career. So because of the vacation work, I really, really found, the diversity, the inclusion at Old Mutual, it resonated so much with me, and it really felt like home. I did also try out vacation work in other companies, but I guess Old Mutual just in the end did feel like home, and I just felt like, yeah, the culture there speaks to me. And so, yeah, and also just being part of the vacation work program helped me to reach out to also graduates who were, in their first year of work at the time, and also just understanding, how is it like first few months at Old Mutual, how is it? And they were telling me about all these awesome trainings that they were undergoing to actually ensure that, they're able to do their work really well. Because in as much as you have a degree from university, there are other things like coming from UCT, we did programming, we didn't really do Excel. So coming to university, from university, they literally put us into this Excel training, for I think it was 2 months last year, where we were just being trained on how to use Excel, how to be more efficient in Excel, which really helps now when I have to do my job, because it's just like I know the tricks, how to actually do this thing. And also coding in VBA, which was something that I didn't know how to do, which I'm able to do now. So I'd say when it comes to training, I would literally give them a 5-star. They really, really shaped, sort of the person that I am today, just coming from the trainings that they have. And also what I really love is it doesn't really end with your first year of work. They have the Old Mutual Business School, where you can literally learn how to do presentation, learn about other soft skills, learn about business, learn about, machine learnings and all of that. So there is just so much to learn, and they encourage you. Those resources are at your disposal. It's just a thing of you actually saying, I want to be a part of it, and they make it happen. So for me, I was really impressed. And when I actually got to be part of the grad program, it was still the same thing. They were still striving to equip people to be better, so that they can be able to do their job in a more efficient way. So I really, really love that. And I was assigned a mentor in my first year of work, which was something that the people who were part of the grad program told me about, the assigning of mentors to first year to graduates who are just coming out of university, because you need to have that someone who will help guide you. There's some decisions that you need to make, like I'm part of a rotation program. I need to decide, when do I move, which department do I actually go to. You sort of need someone with experience who will be able to guide you through the process, because it's not a random rotation. You need to be aligned with what you have to do. Whatever role you take should speak somehow to where you want to take your career. And also just looking at, where do I actually want to take my career? What do I want to do with, my FASA qualification when I finally qualify as an actuary? So for me, that was really like, yeah, that was like cherry on top to say there's so much support and there's so much training. And then number 4, Old Mutual is a big company, as we all know, 175 years of experience. To me, what that says is there are so many opportunities. And I spoke to, someone when I was still in varsity when I was doing my vacation work. And what they said, which stood out to me, was like, they've been with Old Mutual for more than 10 years. And they were just saying it feels like every literally 3 years, they take on a new role. So they've had so many roles, but they're still within one company. And they were like, I feel like I'll still retire at Old Mutual, simply because it's so big. There's so much to learn. There are new things coming in, new departments coming in. So the growth prospects are literally like limitless. You can take on whatever role you want and grow as a professional. And for me, that really speaks to me. And also speaking about opportunities that, exist not only in South Africa, but also outside, South Africa. I know my boss spent like a couple of years in Kenya. He also spent a couple of years in Eswatini. And I always say I have a passion for Africa, and that means I would love to travel to those countries, at some point. And hence I'm in the department, that I'm in, because I want to be aligned with what I say my passion is. So having those opportunities to actually go out, and attend board meetings. It was just unfortunate that we were supposed to actually travel last year, but then because of the pandemic, we couldn't. So for me, it's just like connecting with people in Africa and doing my bit to add value to this continent is really what I'm striving to do. Then the last one is great study support. So if you're someone who has, if you still have to write board exams, or if you feel you want to study further and all of that, that has to be aligned. When you choose an employer, you need to choose someone who will be able to support you. And what I love about Old Mutual is they do actually provide a fully funded scholarship. So they pay for all my exams, all my course notes that are for board exams that I need to use. And the goal beyond that, they also pay for extra material that comes with, the course notes and all of that. So flashcards, they also pay for tutorings and all of that. So for me, that says they also share the same goal with me to say, I want to qualify one day. I want to qualify as much as they want me to qualify, which actually works out for me. I know for some of my friends in other companies, they actually they just get the course notes and they don't get all these extra other benefits that we get as Old Mutual graduates. So for me, that just says, they care and they're willing to actually work with me on this journey. And when it comes to study leave, there's a full study leave policy. It's non-negotiable. I know that when it's time for me to write my exams, they'll be there to support me. And also you get assistance from colleagues, and these are some of the things that when you hear someone who's been part of the grad program saying, you might say, no, that this is just part of marketing, they're just trying to get Old Mutual out there. But this is what I've been experiencing since I actually, started working. I don't have to say I need to pay for extra material because Old Mutual doesn't cover for that. So those are my big 4 reasons. And of course, money. With the actuarial space, it's in line with what the market is actually offering. So yeah, money as well. I'd say like perhaps sub point number 5 will be money. But in a nutshell, that is me. Thank you so much for listening to, this whole presentation. I hope, you gained a thing or two. You actually know a bit about me now. And if you have any questions, this is the time for you to ask or forever hold your peace.
Thank you so much, Fulu. Now I'd like to welcome Shailene, also from Old Mutual, and she's going to answer some questions. So welcome, Shailene. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Casey. Wow, Furu, you killed it. Well done. Well done. All that energy. You should see all of the comments coming through. Very, very well done. So guys, my name is Shailene Ledwaba. I am the early careers lead at Old Mutual for Africa. I sit in the Center of Expertise. I am the person responsible for what our Young Future Leaders program looks like and how we go to market. And I'm very excited with all of the engagement I've seen. I think, it sounds like we're doing really great work. And Furu really did the program lots of justice in terms of actually explaining the culture of Old Mutual. So I haven't been at Old Mutual for too long. I'm going to put that out there. I started in January this year in the midst of a pandemic. Everything has been virtual. But I think for me, one of the learnings was that it really is a great place to work. And I'll tell you why. So at the time, we had a bit of a COVID scare at the beginning of January. And as we got out of isolation, I was starting my role at Old Mutual. I literally got everything couriered to my home, and I have only been to the office once, and that was really just because I was tired of my kids and I needed some adult human connection and interaction, and I managed to go to the office, and it is an amazing building. I'm sure you all know the office in Johannesburg. It's opposite the Gautrain station in Sandton. Really, really amazing. Everything is just very futuristic. And yeah, I think for me, one of the greatest things really is to engage with graduates and to make sure that we position Old Mutual as a employer of choice, because of our amazing culture. So having only been there for a few months, my transition into the workplace has been great. I mean, I've had people just reach out to me just to have coffee sessions and say, can I get to know you a little better? So we work with really smart people like Furu, who do amazing things, but we also, we have very much a human element. So Old Mutual is one of our sayings or our strategies, Old Mutual cares. And really, Old Mutual does care. I saw one of the questions saying, how does Old Mutual impact the lives of people outside of the organization and societies and communities? So what we did, for example, with the Cape Town fires is we you know, there was a crisis committee put together. We sent food parcels to the people who were impacted by the fires in Cape Town. We opened up our Pinelands office to accommodate people, to serve food, etc. And that is just one of many examples of what Old Mutual does in its community. We really care. And as a mutualite, I am definitely excited to lead this program and to make sure that we do great things every single day. Casey, I know that there are a few questions that have come up, and I am really here just to help Furu with the questions outside of the actuarial space that are not directed to her.
Okay, great. We have one question. What is the interview process like at Old Mutual?
Awesome. So our interview process is quite automated. So you would upload your documents onto Workday, which is a platform that we've just recently migrated to. Once you've uploaded your documents, and when I say documents, I'm talking your CV, make sure it looks amazing, because your competition out there it's real. We need to see copies of your transcripts, your matric certificate, as well as your some sort of identification for the country that you are applying at. This year, Old Mutual Young Future Leaders has gone Pan-African, so we envision seeing lots of mobility in the coming years across the continent, and making sure that we kind of cross-share great ideas across the African continent, because Old Mutual is a Pan-African organization. So post the Workday application process, you would then, if you do meet the basic criteria, which is a 65% academic average, you would then move over to an assessment platform, which is gamified. If you are successful there, you would go through to psychometrics, and if you are successful in all of those steps, you would then move over through to a face-to-face interview. So we really get to meet you at the end of the process, when we've given you lots of chances to be really great. You can imagine our application process. I mean, we see thousands of applicants every single year for different programs. So we need to make sure that we are able to filter the candidates that have showed up in the best way possible. And when I say show up, it's not only based on your academics. So I am one of those advocates for a holistic graduate. As you can see, we hire really great graduates who are YouTubers, etc. And it's not just purely academics. And I think a lot of people get stressed out when we talk about a 65% academic average. Guys, don't stress. We really look at the person and whether there's going to be a culture fit in the team and in the organization.
Okay, wonderful. And then I think this is a really great question. What makes Old Mutual a better employer compared to other insurance companies? What makes you guys so wow?
So I think Fura and I can tag team on this, because she's been at Old Mutual much longer than I have. But like I said, the fact, for me, values are really important. And I have seen Old Mutual live by its values. I have seen integrity come into play. I have seen care for people around us, so not just our fellow mutualites, but people within the continent. I think another thing that definitely is a plus for Old Mutual is that it's a Pan-African organization. It's 175 years old. We have a strong client base. We have an amazing leadership team that is very futuristic. I mean, we managed to get thousands of employees you know, who would be home-based during the pandemic set up so that business continues as usual. So I think the brand itself is quite strong. I think we touch lives, we touch communities, and we also make sure that, you know, where we can, we impact people outside of our organization from a career empowerment situation, making sure that, you know, we try and reduce unemployment in the country. And we're a responsible business, which I think is at the core of who we are as an organization. Furu, is there anything else you want to add?
I'll say culture. Culture definitely stands out for me with Old Mutual. It really stands out, and also just how it's so invested in grooming and growing, you know, its employees. I think that really stands out because we definitely have to grow now. With times are changing. We're talking fourth industrial revolution, and I see how Old Mutual has already started equipping its employees, you know, for the fourth industrial revolution. So for me, that says a lot to say in as much as it's an old organization, it's very dynamic as well. It adapts with times as well. So yeah, I would say I'll give it to Old Mutual when it comes to culture and just being adaptive.
Awesome.
Great. I don't know if this is a question for Fulu or for you, Shailene, but what's the one thing you wish somebody had told you when you first entered the world of work?
I'll take it. I'll also let Fulu take it because I think we're from different generations.
Yeah.
I am an older millennial, just to put it out there, and I know Furu is a younger millennial and a Gen Z. So for me, I think the one thing I wish people would have told me was not to take myself so seriously when I was younger. Because I think for me, my career was a big part of who I was before I had kids and a family. And I really invested in making sure that I show up every single day, very early in my 20s, as the best possible person. Which is not a bad thing, but I definitely think I would have lived a little bit more. And I am just like Furu, I'm from Limpopo, where access to resources is not top of mind when you are in my year of matriculation. So the knowledge base is very limited, and I wish I would have probably tried to get out there more and get a little bit more exposed.
Yeah.
But no regrets, Casey.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I know. I guess I wish someone would have told me to know that it's all up to me, especially like in the exterior space where you have to take exams and all of that. I mean, it's very easy to follow other people's path and all of that, like be influenced by other people and really forget who you are and forget about finding your own niche in the whole, exterior space or the space, whatever space you're in. So I think in the beginning, I had this, I don't know whether to call it doubt or, I was a bit shaky, in terms of what is it that I want to do. And also just like being honest with myself about this is really what I want to do. Like I love talking. And, typical actuaries are very quiet. They want to like stay behind spreadsheets all the time and all of that. There was sort of, though it wasn't said unto me, there was sort of pressure to sort of conform to the standard actuarial graduate or standard actuarial, individual or a typical actuary. But I think over time, as you grow up and you start seeing other people doing amazing things, as you network with them, you realize, this is your own journey. You get to decide what comes in and what goes, where you go next, or like what you do next. So right now I'm more free to actually do the things that I feel are important to me, like, helping out, reaching out to people, talking out to people. That's something that I love, but it doesn't erase the fact that I still love actuarial science and I still want to qualify as an actuary. So I wish someone would have told me that, to just be free. It's your own journey, like create your own journey as you please.
Casey, if you don't mind, I do see one more question that I would like to tackle a little bit, and it's directed to me. So Moeketsi says, hi Charlene, can you define lived a little more, get out there and get a little bit more exposed? So Moeketsi, I think it takes a very long time, or it took me a longer time to actually find my purpose and align it with my career. And I wish I had found that earlier on, because I am extremely passionate about young talent. There have been opportunities to move out of the space. I have done other things outside of young talent, but I always find myself back here because I feel and I live by the motto that nobody gets left behind. And it's my responsibility in my career to make sure that I take people along and open up opportunities for people who would generally get left behind. I wish I had found that earlier on in my career. So that's what I mean by get out there and a little bit more exposed, because I think had I found this earlier on, I definitely would have impacted a lot more lives than I already have post finding my purpose and aligning to my career. I hope that answers your question.
Wow, that was good. We have a few questions here relating to what fields you guys hire from, like what graduates you guys take in, like from law, industrial psychology, HR. Are there other opportunities for people who didn't study, like insurance?
So definitely, guys, I have attached our brochure. So if you go into our stand, you'll see our brochure. You'll see the degrees that we've generally hired, and it's a vast spectrum of degrees, right? It also depends on what the business needs in the following year and what skills we are building for the future within the organization. So it's not purely insurance, it's not purely finance or BCom economics or actuarial. So please do get a copy of our brochure. It will explain to you a little bit more in terms of what we are looking for. We're also building for skills of the future. So the Graduate Accelerated Program is not the only program that we run for graduates. So do check out our socials, get onto our Young Future Leaders page, and actually just, familiarize yourself with the different programs that we run within Old Mutual. Yes, Katekani, it is found on the exhibitor site. So you should be able to download the document.
And then this is a question for Fulu. How does Old Mutual fit into your passion for Africa?
So how it fits in, for me, I guess at the beginning, I wanted to get exposure to what is happening in Africa. I remember I had my eye, they had like a different posts or positions that were available for the Grad program. And I remember when there were like 2 positions that were like literally related to Africa. So for me, it's transforming Africa in the actuarial space. So South Africa is pretty much advanced in terms of how we do things in the actuarial space, how we sell insurance, how we price insurance, how we, our systems, the systems that we have running currently, they are really advanced compared to what is happening in the rest of the world, in the rest of like Africa. So for me, getting in touch to say, working closely with those countries that are still in the process of developing or like finding, models or trying to come up with models that will allow them to be more or less in the same level as South Africa. That was what I was looking for, to say I want to be a part of a group of colleagues who will be there in that process to say we've transformed the way Kenya does its pricing because we introduced them to a specific model, which is sort of like a project that I'm currently working on at the moment. So for me, being part of that change, being part of the process that advances Africa, that's how Old Mutual fits in.
Wonderful. Well, I think we are going to wrap up there. Thank you guys, Shaylin and Fulu, for the amazing presentation. You guys were wonderful. And I think Fulu people found you very inspirational. So thank you for that. I think you're going to get a lot of more followers on your YouTube channel. Guys, attendees, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found this very informative. This was great, really it was. Guys, remember to stay on for Capitec, Easy Equities, and GradStar. Remember that
Casey,
you can win. Yes?
sorry, before we go, before people log out, I would like to announce the winner for our Take a Lot voucher. So drum roll. We had top 2 people, so I'm going to mention the top 2 and then I'm going to mention the name. So our top 2 most engaging students were Katekani Ntani and Ntando Dube, and the winner is Ntando Dube. Ntando, please make sure that you send me your details via the private messages. Well done. I hope you're going to enjoy your 500 rands Take a Lot voucher.
Congratulations. Wow.
Congratulations. Wow, what an honor.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. Okay. Thank you very much, Shaylin and Fulu again. You guys were great. Next, we have Capitec, then Easy Equities, and then Grad Star. And guys, remember to join the Grad Star session. You could win Hawaii Watch Fit or a 500 Rand Nando's voucher. I mean, who doesn't love Nando's? Nando's is great. Thank you to our main sponsor, Investec, again. And guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of the sessions, and I will see you again later at 3 o'clock for the Grad Star session. Thank you.